Would you say if someone slow plays with blue eyes, they're dragging out the duel? Bro, where you going? Where you going? Where?
I was having a good day.
Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Long Stars. My name's Justin.
I'm irritated. I'm annoyed. I'm appalled.
And let's get it. And we're back. How you doing, man?
Chilling.
Chilling. There goes your unenthusiastic attitude. So I have to tell jokes.
Bad jokes.
Good jokes.
It doesn't make anything better. They're bad jokes.
I tell phenomenal jokes, dude.
You was trying to be like ecstatic, excited.
Because I'm funny.
Half the country's burning, the other half is freezing. So sorry if I don't feel,
Yeah, I'm trying to bring some positivity to the situation. We don't all have to be negative all the damn time. We could be happy. It was actually pretty sunny today. It wasn't even that cold. It was like 50-something degrees. Like compared to
anything
the rest
anything under 70 degrees is cold. It's just cold.
I mean, I agree, but it's relative to the current weather that was happening in the last week.
I guess.
Anyway, so yeah, it really sucks that Texas has been going through a freeze, and I think it just got over its freeze, right? Unless there's
Wednesday and Thursday are supposed to be the coldest days.
Yeah, just last year was around February 1st when the freeze happened. So I don't know if it's going to continue around there or it's just going to be pretty fair weather for the rest of the winter now, going into the spring. Then, it's blazing heat for, 4 months straight. But anyway, yeah, all our, for what it's worth, all our thoughts and prayers go out to the people of Los Angeles. We're originally from Los Angeles, so we have a lot of friends and family there, so it's pretty scary. Fortunately, it hasn't gotten to any of their areas.
Yeah, I just tripped and, dropped my mixtape, and then boom.
It's fires that are ravaging California, not trash.
Yeah, because I got bars.
Chocolate bars.
Everybody
that are melted in the pocket.
Everybody loves chocolate.
Not melted chocolate in your pocket. And that's the equivalent to any mixtape you would ever make, just to let you know. Anyway, back to more relevant topics. What do you got for the people today, man?
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh, as we all love it, is.
I mean, not according to this podcast. You don't love the game.
I do love the game.
Go ahead.
But it is. We love Yu. Yu-Gi-Oh's the greatest trading card game on earth. Already, right? But other card games do have. Their positives. They do have good. How do I say?
Was that like a diss to other card game players or something?
What are you talking about?
Because you just said Yu-Gi-Oh's the greatest card game on earth, right? But isn't the most popular Pokemon?
I don't know if the most popular is Pokemon. They're all in the big three: MTG, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon. I don't know if Pokemon's the most popular, but
why is it always big three? Why is it never big four? Right, it's always big three anime.
Okay, can you name a fourth card game that's lasted as long as any of those three or as big as any of those three?
Uno.
That's not a trading card game.
I could trade the cards, can't I? I bet you feel real dumb right now.
Why would you? What are you gonna trade?
You feel real stupid.
You're gonna trade what? A fucking draw 4 for another just a regular change color?
They have some pretty cool versions of Uno.
Yeah. I was gonna get you for Christmas the nonpartisan one.
Not what? Nonpartisan Uno?
Yes, nonpartisan Uno.
It's political Uno?
No. The opposite. That's why it's called nonpartisan.
Regular Uno?
Sure.
I don't know what
you want me to tell you how it works? I was going to buy it for you, but I couldn't get it on time. So the way it works, right?
Okay.
There's no red and blue cards.
Okay.
They replace it with like orange and like purple.
Okay.
So no red and blue cards.
It sounds like.
And if you talk about politics, you drop the no politics card, and I think you draw however many the house says.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a great game. I'm like, I gotta get
This is a
this.
real Uno game.
Yeah, it's a real. You can look it up right now. It's a real Uno game.
This is ridiculous.
Nonpartisan Uno.
Oh my god. I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up later because that sounds ridiculous.
That is a phenomenal game. That sounds phenomenal.
Man, no. I'm talking about politics.
No, and
If you could drop a draw 4, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong on climate change.
okay, all right, draw 4.
I thought you, okay.
Anyway, your stupid tangent.
My tangent.
Yeah, yes, because you
Okay.
wanted to trade Uno cards.
All right, whatever.
But anyway,
go ahead.
other card games do have their good traits, but I think so. I think Yu-Gi-Oh could benefit, especially in these times, from adopting some of those traits.
Okay.
So the big thing is the combining of OCG and TCG, right? Digimon just started their simultaneous releases of their East and West sets, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how Yu-Gi-Oh sets in the OCG come out first, and then we get those sets however many months later.
Right.
Now, it is a Japanese product, but I think these days, like, no. Well, I was gonna say something, but I think it's wrong. But it is a Japanese product, but I think these days, it's an international thing now. Even relatively recently, we've gotten. I mean, it's still in the East, but in places like the Philippines, they release what they call Asian English cards, which pretty much what they sound like. It's OCG, but it's in English. And then when we start, and then it's coming to like other places, like well, I think the Netherlands, they've been had it, but the point is it's an international thing at this point, right? And I think we should just have maybe not ban lists, sure, but we should at least have simultaneous releases. Like what we call leaks are just the OCG getting like their cards announced.
Interesting.
And then we can have the live streams. We can have just like they do in the OCG, the live streams of them revealing these new cards. I remember how
I didn't know they had live streams.
Yeah, they have live streams over there for their new cards. I don't think all the time, but at least sometimes. I remember how they revealed the Mimigul cards. Well, they should just do that, but for like every set, for all our sets, right? And then they I don't like how how do I say this? We always have new cards being released, right? So we look at the release,
Okay.
and we know those cards are coming like months in advance, right?
Right.
But even before we even get that set, we know what cards are coming out in the next set. And I just find that's so like, I don't want to say annoying, but it's just so lame. It's just like, I don't know. It just makes me feel like it doesn't make it feel like surprising. Like it's surprising when you see the cards, but it's like, okay, like and when we do get the cards announced, they don't announce the cards. They just reveal the rarities that are coming out in the set. Because like, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, I guess like we already know what cards are coming out, which is like I think it's so I don't know. I just feel it just makes it feel lame. It's like, oh, like we got the new Molchami card coming out, but I wonder if we're getting another one. Oh, before this one comes out, we already know the next one's coming out. Which is, I don't know. I don't think that's right at all.
Why not?
Well,
It makes people excited to see what cards, or at least those in the West.
Well, no, it doesn't make you excited because you already know what cards are coming out. I get it. Like you see what,
you
see when you initially see the cards, then of course you're gonna be like, oh, wow, that's right. But like when we actually get the set, you're not excited because you're just looking at what you already knew like 3, 4, 5 months ahead, right?
Sure. I'm
So,
wondering
I
why
want.
why Digimon would do something like that, unless they've said. I mean, I doubt they said why, but
I think it's just as practical because it doesn't really make much sense when we're just. And again, I get it; it's a Japanese product, but it doesn't. If this is now an international game, I just don't see why we just don't have some type of simultaneous release.
well, yeah,
And
it's practical, but I'm saying there. I mean, there's always an incentive to changing what you typically do, right? You could say it's you, you can say it's practical, but there's to make a big change like that, something has had to happen. So like the reason Yu-Gi-Oh won't do it because there's no real financial incentive to do it, right? Digimon. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the game, but it doesn't. It definitely doesn't seem as popular here in the United States, or probably in the entire West, right? So they have. I mean, they really have. One, they have nothing to lose, and really everything to gain if they just combine the two formats.
well,
But
yeah, I think but I
I
would
mean, I
argue.
agree they should do it, but I'm just saying that that's probably why Digimon did it. So it's a bit different.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I think it's the same reason. They have everything. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain from a simultaneous international release. They can still have. We can still have like our exclusives, but for like our regular sets, I don't see a reason not to. Like, it's not like the OCG is like a testing ground or like it's not. It's just the fact it's an Eastern product that they get their product first. But at this point, I don't think I think it just makes sense. They're not gonna lose anything.
For sure.
The only thing that they maybe might lose is the well, I don't even know if they would lose that. I was gonna say like they would lose the chance to rarity bump a lot of important cards, in the West. But I don't even think they would. I don't even think they would lose that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean they know what cards are good. I mean they
Yeah,
probably look
yeah,
at
a
it.
year in advance.
Imagine like you're just looking thought I had like a board somewhere. You're just looking at the cards. They're like, don't you think this is a little broken? This is a pretty good card. Don't you think players are gonna like it? No, they'll love it. They'll love it.
I think no. I think they
They'll
go in
love
there and
it.
like, no, they'll hate this card.
I think they drink tears of the players.
I
Like
think
they
yeah,
have
they do.
mugs. They have mugs in their several. They have mugs in their offices. Say, duelist tears.
Oh my god.
That'd be kind of funny as a Yu-Gi-Oh not as an official Yu-Gi-Oh product, but as like a fan made one.
Yeah, duelist tears.
Yeah, and it's just a picture of Mokuba crying.
Yeah, and you just drink that on live stream. That'd be lit.
You're live streaming dueling excuse me, Master Duel, and every time you win,
Yeah, yeah.
you just make it, and then you make a compilation of it. That'd be pretty funny.
Even in maybe not in Master Duel. Maybe Master Duel can stay like I guess its own format. But that's a whole other can of worms, Master Duel. But combining the simultaneous releases, I think is the thing that we should do. Maybe arguably we should combine the ban lists too, because it doesn't really make much sense that we have different ban lists. But I guess that might be a whole other thing. But
Yeah.
we should be playing the same game. Like, can you imagine? Like, imagine being an OCG player, right? And like, Worlds comes around. I'm going to go to the World Tournament, and now I gotta like backtrack on a deck I played 2 freaking months ago. Right?
Yeah, that's
Just
fair.
because we have to combine our ban lists, pretty much.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I can't even play with my new cards.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, okay, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. We should, excuse me, combine everything. I really don't see why not. The only thing I would want to, I mean, the only thing we do, the missing information here is like, why do we do it in the first place? And I know people, I mean, nothing has officially been said on it. I mean, obviously, people have made great points on it, which is likely the reasons we do it because of the monetary reasons. But I'd like to like have an official answer on that. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So the next thing I think we should do, and we talked about it a little bit, like for a moment with like Urus. So Magic has this thing called Universes Beyond, right?
What's it
So
called?
Universes Beyond.
Oh,
It's like a campaign, or I guess you could call it, right? But basically, they just do crossovers with the other IPs. Like you remember how he mentioned, Magic has My Little Pony cards.
right.
So but they have My Little Pony, Doctor Who, WWE, Fallout, etc. Right, a bunch of IPs, and I think they're still gonna release other IPs, other IP crossovers. Now Yu-Gi-Oh does have themes, like Cosmo and more recently Malice, based on other IPs.
Mm-hmm.
But you can argue just make straight up crossovers with other IPs. Like I don't know, let's say what's a random, like I guess One Piece, right?
Right.
Like a crossover of One Piece, like you have Luffy, or maybe even a card based off, like, no, just Luffy. Just have Luffy in a Yu-Gi-Oh card, and maybe it doesn't have to be like the best deck, but it could be, at least a playable deck, I guess.
Oh, sure.
And that can bring in other players from from those fandoms into Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Even if it's like a non, well, I shouldn't say that. Even if it's something like a sport, like sports, like, oh, you can have an NBA crossover, right?
That'd be wild.
Yeah, you have LeBron on a card, or
No.
oh,
Ice Cube on a card.
oh, Ice Cube. Oh yeah, I'll play that instantly. I'll play that instantly.
Easy E.
Yeah. I would have a card of them, beating up the police. But
I don't think they would do. I don't think Konami would make something like that.
nah, I can make an alternate art. It'd be lit.
Yeah, I mean they'd probably get some pretty bad press over it. I mean, it could promote the game, right? It would go into like the political spaces, right? Cause that's happened before. Like some pop culture stuff has gone into like the political spaces, like Has Been Hotel.
Yeah.
Obviously, different like movies. And even what happened with the Pokemon dude, with the Pokemon kid, and him misgendering that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it could definitely promote the game. So it'd be very, very interesting.
But yeah, I think you can help bring in new players. But I think at the same time, maybe the problem is, like, are those players gonna realistically like stick around? Like, if I'm an NBA fan and I see, like LeBron on a card, am I gonna? How many of those players are gonna actually get to and stay in the game versus just look at, or just want to like collect those cards, or maybe just play with them for like a little bit, and then not actually get into the game? I think someone said, I forgot the YouTube channel, but he does a bunch of comparisons on all the popular card games, and he basically said, that could possibly kill off Magic because they're doing these crossovers, and what I just said of not being able to keep those fandoms based on those IPs.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm sure there's always an initial amount of players that go into the game, and then it depends on how they're retained, like their retention rate. So I mean, it definitely be an interesting investment, I guess. But the return on it, I don't know. I'd be if I was in the ideas room, I'd be skeptical on the return of that kind of thing. Be interesting to explore though.
Yeah. Yeah, it would. I think it'd be super fun. And it could possibly bring up the collector's market,
Sure.
which I think we need a bigger I didn't put this on the list, but I do think we do need a better market for collectors.
What do you mean?
Like if you look at Pokemon has a big collection community. Big collection community. It's bigger than I would say. It's just as big as like any baseball or basketball card collectors, right?
Sure.
Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh obviously has cards that people want, but I feel like
Excuse me.
it's just not as big. It's just not as big. Maybe we need the things off.
Yes, I know. Damn it.
I just think we need something to just bring. I don't know, just bring it up. It's like I don't know what makes them so sought after. I know it's Pokemon, so I guess that's a big reason. But I don't know. We need more sought after. I just want a bigger market. I think it'd just be cool.
It depends on what they do on them. I don't know what exactly they do. It depends on what they do in the market and how that can be translating to Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh, they pretty much just keep it like they're just their hands off the secondary market.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you can keep your hands off the second. It's not just
I'm
about.
not saying they should, but I'm just saying they do.
It's not just about the secondary market. It's just about just I get the collector's market in general. Like I'm not saying Pokemon has necessarily anything to do with the secondary market, but they do release like rarer cards and and like their special rarities and from special sets and things like that. We don't do that. Like and especially not anymore. Maybe like like in the olden days where we had special pack releases, special card releases. But these days all our cards just come from our sets or like an OTS pack. A tournament pack.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess, since Yu-Gi-Oh isn't that, I guess, how do you say, we don't have as many icons in pop culture than Pokemon. So, but that's it's just another story. But moving on, I think everyone has talked about alternative formats in Yu-Gi-Oh to make it better.
Sure.
I'm not sure what will work. There's been so many like ideas put out there. Magic has their commander format where it's just every card is at 1. Or obviously if it's broken, it's just banned. We do have our Time Wizard formats, but like Uru said, it's basically not scalable. Like you can't release new cards. We just play it. Like the best thing we could do is just release higher rarities of those cards or re-release like an old set or old cards. But that doesn't really do anything. It's not scalable. And they don't change, so it doesn't really matter. We also have we do have speed duels, master duel, and duel links, which can be fun. But those have their own problems in themselves. We just need something that feels like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's easy to get into and pretty simple to understand. Maybe like create a booster set. That's or like,
but this is the type of shit they on that we wouldn't understand. See what I did there?
How do we even know that? Oh, it's been all over the internet, huh?
Yeah.
Fake fan. Don't even do that. Poser. Anyway. Like we should create an alternative format, like maybe 1 or 2, have booster sets for those alternative formats, and maybe one of those formats can be specifically for beginners. Like, and we could release decks, like beginner decks or beginner archetypes that have like themes, right? Like, oh, this is like the warrior deck, or I think they did try to do that in the OCG, right? They released, I don't know what they called it, but it was basically like structure decks for like Cyber Dragon, and then I think Sprite, I want to say. I think, or maybe Live Twin Sprite, something like that. which that's good. Those are like pretty modernized decks that people can use, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think we should do that, but we should just release more. I think other beginner type decks that cover a lot of themes and maybe a lot of archetypes that where we don't and have them be in their own format, so people can understand how to work the cards, right? Like if I'm a beginner and even if I understand like what my deck does, I have to understand what your deck does and everybody else's deck does.
Right.
Right. Which is like fine, right? If I want to compete, but I'm a beginner, that's like very overwhelming. Like in Snake Eyes format, right? Like if you activated Diabelle's Wanted, Wanted by the quick play spell, and you're just thinking, and I have Ash in my hand. I'm like, okay, do I Ash this, or is it because there's like what, like 8 cards in that deck, 8 like individual cards in that deck that you can Ash, and you don't even know which one because you don't even know how the deck works.
Sure.
And you can say he can learn the deck, but that's not realistic when you're a beginner and we have a constantly changing meta. So we should just have an alternative format for beginners, have sets and decks for those beginners so they can learn and understand, and then have them jump into the advanced format.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a decent idea. I don't see why not. I mean, Goat seems like the most popular format. So obviously it's relatively simple. Or any other format they want to do. Yeah, I mean, and it depends. I mean, if there's a market for it,
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I think that'd be because since Yu-Gi already has a new player problem, just if we do something like that, we bring in new players. So I do think there's a market out there for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why the OCG and the T, we tried to release the 2-player set, sucked.
The what?
The 2-player set.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it was a set that just released like two decks that I can play with and I can give you, and then we just play. And I guess learn the game together like that. But it sucked because the deck sucked and it doesn't really explain. It might explain to you the rules, but obviously you're not learning like any proper interactions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I wonder? I just thought about this in as you were talking. What if Yu-Gi-Oh just becomes its own like thing?
What do you mean?
Right, it separates it separates from Konami like completely, because you know how like Konami doesn't run any tournaments except YCS's.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so but I'll stop you right there. So I just like learned this. Konami is just licensed.
Yu-Gi-Oh's licensed.
Yeah,
to Konami.
Yu-Gi-Oh's licensed to them.
Right,
So
that's what. Yeah, go ahead.
So if you mean they should just go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, they should just become its own like thing. It's just Yu-Gi-Oh should just be, its own company, its own game. Like, you know what I'm saying? In that way, you could, and they.
So yeah, it is. So Yu-Gi-Oh is just licensed to Konami, and then so if you just mean, I get what you're saying. It should just become its own thing because it is owned by a certain company. I forgot the name, but it is owned by a certain company. But if you just mean, yeah, it should just be its own thing.
Whatever makes it as independent as possible. Because I'm wondering if that frees them up to do a lot more things, like explore ideas like that, hold official, like on the regional level, you could hold like official tournaments. Since it's the regional tournaments are all I mean, it might make a little bit more sense for the local people to run it. For local shops to run it, or I don't know. It depends on like whatever business model or whatever. But I don't think it would be out there for there to be official regional tournaments for Yu-Gi-Oh, because I know the shops have to like they have to rent their own space, and depending on the popularity Depending on like the turnout of the tournament, would you get your a return on investment for that space? Because I feel and I mean this is just a side note, I guess, because also like Austin doesn't hold. I mean, it held Nats, but like it doesn't hold like regional tournaments because of the three shops here for some reason don't do that. Maybe because it's too expensive. Uh, but I think it's completely possible. I think it'd be completely possible. I mean, Texas is a pretty big market. So anyway, but my point is, I'm wondering what it will look like and the benefits of Yu-Gi-Oh becoming its own uh, company, I guess.
So that would be interesting. It's it's because like Yu-Gi-Oh isn't a big enough IP to be its own company, right?
Well, I guess I
Like
guess that's what I mean. It becomes his own IP. I mean, I guess that's an interesting point.
it would just have to somehow branch out into either other mediums or just become the card game just become like just a branch of Yu-Gi-Oh, this Yu-Gi-Oh company as a whole, right?
Sure.
Because like Pokemon is owned by it's owned by three different companies, but they did Pokemon isn't necessarily its own company. It's owned by three different companies, and those three companies established the Pokemon company. And those three separate companies, they just handle different mediums of Pokemon. Like Creatures is the ones who do the card game, for example. So that's why I say like like Pokemon, is obviously like one of, if not the biggest IP. Well, I shouldn't say the biggest. Obviously, Disney is Disney overlords. But the point is, like it just isn't a big enough IP unless they branch out into other mediums.
Right. And I'm just wondering. I mean, this is gonna be a conversation for an entire podcast on, their marketing and branching out and promoting the game. I don't know why. Like, I mean, Konami just has. It just seems like to me they're not investing as much as they could into Yu-Gi-Oh. Because like why their marketing seems like absolute garbage. Because
Yeah,
they're
especially
on
I think you can speak to that. I think you can say that about like every company now. They're just getting pretty lazy with their marketing. It's just this
like
pretty,
card game companies.
no, just any company.
They're getting lazy with their marketing.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of companies are just getting lazy with their marketing. Like like back in the day when you would see a Yu-Gi-Oh commercial, you would see maybe a kid, have his dual disc, like Zodia gets summoned, but right behind him, or even something that's not Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's just say I don't know, like car commercials or food commercials. They might have something wild or explicit happen in their commercial, and then you find out it's like a commercial for like a burger or like a Ford F-150, right? But they're getting lazy. They're getting pretty cookie cutter. All commercials pretty much look the same.
Sure, but what I mean by them being not investing as much as they could, like I think I mentioned this before, they're not on like TikTok. Like Yu-Gi-Oh has no reason not to be promoting itself on TikTok. It like itself, it's anime. They're on. I mean, what they're on Facebook, but they don't do anything on Facebook. They just make like announcements on Facebook and Instagram. And are they really on? I mean, they're on Twitter, I guess. But that's really. I mean, why aren't you on the most popular like marketing platform, the most popular social media platform to promote this product? Unless people just don't have any experience. I'm sure they have people who have experience doing social media. I mean, they have to have someone running their social media. So why don't they have someone doing the TikTok or like you're recording the iconic Yu-Gi-Oh announcers for some weird thing. I don't know, and then you got the voices on there with Dan Green and the voice of Kaiba. I forgot his name. There's just so many things you could do, and I think they're neglecting it. If there is a dwindling player base, right? Then why aren't they exploring more marketing avenues? That's what I'm just wondering. I know this is a whole tangent, but
Yeah, I don't know. They just need to. Everyone agrees Konami needs to do better, but I don't know. I don't think they plan to do anything for Yu-Gi-Oh. For all we know, we're just being what's the word like we're just being like, oh, the give me attention type child. Maybe Konami. Maybe I think most of us just don't know what else Konami does. I know they do make their video games and everything. I don't know what else, but I don't know what else they do.
right, and that's why I
But
say they. That's why I'm thinking of if Yu-Gi-Oh should just be its own thing. Like if you're not getting, if you want to focus more on your video games, that's fine, right? You're gonna focus on the things that make you the most money. So this is like kind of like in marketing, you're gonna focus on like the top 20% of people that make you money that buy your product,
right.
right? Because that's where and you're gonna double down on those people because that's where you're making most of your money. So if you're not making most of your money from Yu-Gi-Oh, if Konami isn't making most of his money from Yu-Gi-Oh, then it makes sense that they wouldn't give the game as much attention, right? Or they think, hey, we're just gonna wait. Like we'll invest what we can, but we're not gonna, if they anticipate it to eventually, knock on wood, die out, then why invest as much as you? I don't know. It just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think on Team APS podcast, the pod agreed. They talk about how what if Yu-Gi-Oh, or someone asked them a question like what if Yu-Gi-Oh. I know you said Yu-Gi-Oh being its own company, but the question the person asked, what if Yu-Gi-Oh was like licensed by basically licensed by someone else like Bandai or whoever, right?
No, someone who could focus more on card games.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I don't think like if it's licensed by someone else, they're just gonna it's gonna change. I think it's gonna change too much if it's like licensed by someone else. Like, and again, like Yu-Gi-Oh just needs to really like somehow get into move into other avenues to keep itself alive if it were to be on its own.
And it's not even just necessarily like maybe there's not a dwindling player base, right? But what if there's a stagnated player base?
Oh yeah, we've talked about this before. Like most people who are just playing Yu-Gi-Oh now like grew up with the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. You did talk about that before, yeah.
Yeah, so we're just like we just got adult money now, and that's why the player counts are like increasing at each tournament because all of us are getting jobs.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Now
We have
we're
grown
wasting on
people
card
money.
games.
Yeah, we have grown people money. Anyway, you can move on.
But this is, in my opinion, this is like the most important thing that we should do for Yu-Gi-Oh. We should lean into more the theme of Yu-Gi-Oh. And what I mean by that is like, I wasn't watching it, but I was just looking. I just glanced past like a Pokemon tournament, right? And on their main stage, right, their feature TV stage, whatever you call it, they have like that thing is decorated like all over, right? Some stages look like they're at like a beach from the anime, or they're like out in the field, right? It's bright lights, colorful, big themes. And we don't do that really for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like when we go to like let's say a YCS, it's just a bunch of banners. Now those are cool banners, but that's pretty much it, right? So what I'm talking about is
You want a big ass Millennium Puzzle in the middle of
yes,
in the middle of the stage?
yes. I want to feel like a giant. I want to nerd out at these events.
You know what? I don't know why they. In fact, that'd be interesting to make that the dueling table.
Right,
Like
right,
you
yeah.
build
That
that
was
up.
I was gonna say something like that. Like you have a big Millennium Puzzle as a dueling table, or let's say we're like at a dueling table, right? And right here, like where the front camera is, it's like it's like cutouts of like those machines from Duel Monsters. The machines that rose up for the holograms. Mm-hmm. It could be those like right here. You're like red and blue, or whatever colors they freaking had, right? Just like right there. I think just lean into like the nerdiness of the players. Like they'll nerd out over that type of crap, right?
You know,
Don't just put up banners.
random prize idea. Random prize idea. For if they make a new
Trophy.
well, I mean, yeah, maybe trophy, but like I was gonna say like a new championship series like UDS. Like you could have like life size versions of the Millennium pieces, or yeah, the Millennium. Like imagine they probably be like, I mean, not probably, they definitely be gold plated, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean life? Like size of my hand?
Like the
Like-
actual size, like to scale, like in the anime, like you know how
Oh,
like
the Millennium items.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I said pieces. Yeah, I mean the Millennium items. Like you have like a big thing of this scale right here. Like, however,
Yeah, why not?
because
Yeah.
what's his name? What was it? I don't know. I forgot his name. Who had the scales?
Odeon.
Odeon. Yeah, like I mean that thing was like it was like this. It was like this big. You like you could actually like
Yeah.
it looked heavy, right? So you can have it's just a random idea.
No,
right?
yeah, and I
It'd be
think
pretty
that's
cool.
you know.
And then like they all play for the and then all the champions they play for the Millennium Puzzle at the end, and not at the end, but at the end of this series of
Right,
tournaments.
right, exactly. But like, yeah,
pretty
exactly, right. Like, I think, and like I said, I'm just like real into, um, I'm real into memorabilia, right? So I think that's why I just feel like this is the most important thing. Like when I go to a Yu-Gi-Oh event, I want to feel like a Yu-Gi-Oh nerd. That's the thing. I want to feel, and like you said, if we had pricing like that, yeah, that'd be lit. Everybody would love that. I have the Millennium Rod. I'll like control your mind or something. I have the Millennium Eye. I can see your cards. Right?
No, yeah. And I don't know why they don't have figurines either. Like why? Like
Right. Like
why wouldn't you
lean
have
into
figurine
these
as
things.
prizing?
Like
That doesn't make
if I'm at a main event stage at a YCS, I want to feel like I'm dueling in the anime. I want to have Battle City decorations. Have and maybe at certain times during the year you can lean into certain themes. Like if it's like freaking if there's a YCS in like October, right? Have
Excuse me.
have decorations of like zombies or
Oh, you want okay?
like what that little kid, that little zombie kid from Duel Monsters, what do they call it, the ghost tricks,
Sure.
and things like that. Maybe maybe if you're releasing maybe you release a new card, like a new zombie card, right around that time for like a promotion, right? It's
We
like
should just get we should just get a bunch of people together, and we start a company, and we license Yu-Gi-Oh, and boom, and then we can be in charge, and then we can, as long as we're all competent enough, and just do whatever we want to with the game and the tournaments.
Sure, yeah, why not? Yeah, I think
It'd be pretty fun.
like I don't understand. Like I don't understand. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's just I don't know. If
We
it's just
become
me.
the
It
solution.
seems like these ideas are just like right there, right? Like how much will it realistically cost for you just to make some stupid decorations to look like Battle City for a Halloween theme? It's Christmas time. Have I don't know, freaking some stupid card, right? Get released for us, right? Just anything, something like that. I want to feel like I don't want to just go to it. It's like, oh, even if I win a YCS, like, oh, I got a trophy with like a prize card that pretty much means nothing, right? I don't feel like, it's a. Don't get me wrong, it's a great achievement, but like, I want to look at my trophy, and like, also be able to put it up for like a decoration. right? You know what I mean?
Why don't they have like big Yu-Gi-Oh signs at these ones? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have. I mean, like you said, they have the banners, but you know how like some places they have like huge 3D signs
No,
of
yeah,
a logo.
exactly.
That'd be
Like
pretty
just
funny.
stuff, just stuff like that. I don't want just like a bunch of
But
banners.
like you said, it's probably the size of the IP. You know, so I mean, I imagine they have like a very limited budget to do these things. So
Sure, but well, I don't know. Well, maybe. I mean, obviously, I don't know the total cost, but I don't. I'd imagine it wouldn't cost that much to get some cool decorations for like throughout the year. Like you can reuse the decorations. That's fine. Like these three, like these YCS will have Battle City. These YCSs you'll be in on Duelist Island or right or
yeah,
Duelist
yeah,
Kingdom, I should say.
yeah, definitely.
And also we should have this kind of works into it kind of like the whole nerd thing. We should have lure integration, right? And what I mean by that is in Magic, they have books on their lures, in their cards. And Yu-Gi-Oh has a ton of lore, but you have to look all around to even find out about that lore. You can look at the cards. Like I can look at the Diabellstar card. How am I supposed to know that the White Forest cards are supposed to work with the Snake Eye cards? Or not, I shouldn't say work with it. How am I supposed to know the White Forest cards are also connected to the Snake Eye cards, which are also connected to the Goblin Biker cards, which is also connected to Diabellstar? And
You're saying they should just have like they should have just like a book, or like what do you
yeah,
mean by
sure,
lore?
yeah, that's one of the things. You have a book that tells you about these themes. They should have how do I say like campaigns for these themes. Like let's say at the beginning of the year, right? I well maybe not the beginning of the year, but let's just say yeah, at the beginning of a year, um, this is the year of fire, right? So we're gonna tell the story of I don't know the Snake Eye cards, the Bellstar, and and then they have banners of her.
Wait,
They
wait,
can
wait, wait, wait. Is that an example? Or is it actually the Year of Fire?
no, I don't think I don't
Oh,
think
I thought you were
no
talking about some like weird like. Never mind.
no. It's just what we say
That was
since it's
just a.
Snake
I mean,
Eyes format.
that was just a weird thing to say. I think that was pretty insensitive.
No, it's just what
No, 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 no. Canceled.
no.
No, no, canceled.
Anyway, if we just have something like the Year of Fire, we release something like, we talk, or it doesn't even have to be the Year of Fire. We just introduce a new story, right? We talk about the story of Diabellstar, right? And then we release cards like, the Goblin Bikers, the White Forest, and we tell this story as the releases are coming out. And then at these events, we also have some type of display telling us about these cards or showing off these monsters. Maybe like a life size cutout of Diabellstar or
Interesting. That'd be a little much.
no, it wouldn't be much. It wouldn't be much.
You can have like a banner like telling the story of the card, like
Sure,
cards.
whatever. But the point is, we need something. I think having a lure campaign for cards like these would be cool, right? Maybe that might come with some complications, especially with like the ban list and the power of certain cards. But having something like that would be nice for the game. Excuse me. And instead of having, side note, we should also have less cards in our boxes.
Like less card numbers.
Yes. Because all we do, like we have not let I think 9 cards come in our packs, right? Most of that is just filler cards, like let's say I don't know. Well, I don't have any cards right here, but oh, okay, I didn't know. Okay, so well, this is this is a side set, but point is. If we had cards, like, I don't know, let's say, like what's a I don't know, like binary sorceress. Not many people use binary sorceress, or here we go. Like what is this? Aloof Lupin or something like that, right? Something like this comes in a box. Now, while it might be a cool card or even a neat card, like most cards that come in boxes, especially our main sets, are pretty useless, right?
Now you pissed off all the aloof fans.
Or like Planet Pathfinder. No one's gonna use this card.
What does it do?
It's basically terraforming.
Oh,
You tribute it, add a field spell. It's just like no one's gonna use that card. It's just pack filler. Like sorry Pathfinder, but like that's just it.
I mean every card game does that though.
No, but I don't think. I mean not okay. So I forgot which card game. Which card game is it? I forgot which card game, but this card game has less packs or less cards in each pack. And I think that's what we need. We need less cards. We don't need 9 cards in each pack. Most of our cards are like useless. No one's gonna use them. Like it's okay to release cards that go with, let's say, a certain theme, just because, right? Mm-hmm. But like if I just release a card that is, they have to know these cards are useless. That's the thing. Like you said, they know which cards are like the best cards in the pack. And there's not that many, so all I gotta do is like make decent, like let's say mid to broken cards, and then we just reduce the packs, let's say down to 4 or 5, right?
That's pretty low. That's pretty low.
Yeah, but okay. So how many cards are out of a pack? Do you realistically think you're gonna use?
I agree with you that like most of them are useless, and they'll probably never be used. Excuse me. I wouldn't have a way to justify it if I were.
No, yeah, it's like because if you buy a whole box, if you buy a whole box. And let's say out of that box, you get a bunch of the cards that you want to use from that box. How many realistically are you gonna use? Maybe 20 cards? Mm-hmm. Out of like 100 and something. So we just reduce our cards in the packs, and then we wouldn't have a bunch of freaking filler.
Yeah. Probably make the boxes a little bit cheaper, too.
Exactly. Because exactly. Because it'll be easier. It'll be easier to pull what you want.
Because when we started, boxes were like $60, right?
Yeah, they're like $60, and now they're like $100.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, and that's obviously a mix of inflation and everything, but
sure.
You could definitely adjust the. You could definitely adjust the card amounts in every pack and definitely make the boxes cheap. And that could help make
that, or you raise the card quality, which I think is harder when it comes to card designing.
Right. I think that's a very practical adjustment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like that idea.
Tying it back to what I was talking about before, if we release, let's say the Diabell Star, right? We release cards related to the Diabell Star, and just release that in like one box. Mm-hmm. Or the White Forest cards, release the whole White Forest deck in another box instead of it. It just doesn't really make sense to me how we. Maybe I don't know the whole process of, coming up with the idea, designing the card, and releasing the card. It doesn't really make much sense to me to an ongoing release of archetypal cards in consecutive sets, right? Mm-hmm. This set we're getting these new White Forest cards, and then in the next set we're getting this new White Forest card that breaks this deck, or it increases or improves this deck. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But Yeah, I do think so. I think that's the most important thing that Konami should adopt. Just really dive into the whole themes of Yu-Gi-Oh, and just make everybody nerd out over it. And I think that would make people buy more.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's definitely interesting to. It'd definitely be interesting to explore. Um, got any other points?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I like a lot of those. I think that last point was really interesting. I think that's something they legitimately can explore. I'm wondering if they've done. I'm wondering if there's some type of like thing they've studied where the amount of card. This is like the ideal amount of cards in a box that's good that gets that's better for sales.
Yeah, but yeah, I get. I mean,
I imagine they've explored something, but I don't know. Maybe they haven't, but
well, yeah, obviously we have things like the, but if there are packs with like less or more cards, it's for a specific reason. Like more cards usually come in like the mega pack, the tins, right? And then less cards usually come in like tournament packs or promotional packs,
yeah. So
right? Which I think is how do I say this? I shouldn't say better, but it's more it makes more sense. Like you get 3 cards out of an OTS pack. One of them is meta relevant. The other 2 are still kind of relevant and related to the previous meta or the current meta or something like that, right?
yeah,
Or something coming up.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm just wondering. Yeah. It'd be very interesting to explore. I'm sure they could. You said 9 cards coming up pack.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you look on the box, it should say 9 cards.
I'm sure they. I mean, they could explore 7, right? As a start, right?
7.
Like 7 cards a pack.
I would say if for a start, I should say just rip off the band-aid, just cut down to like 5.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it'd be definitely interesting to explore. What else? And then combining the formats. I mean, people have been asking for that for a while. I have to. We
Maybe
gotta,
not
we
combining
gotta
the
see
formats,
like
just
who's
like
in charge of this Yu-Gi-Oh department, dude, at Konami, so we could just give them an interview, dude. Like, because I'm just curious and just what goes on. That's the thing. Like,
I think Farfa did interview a former Konami employee because a former Konami employee.
yeah, I'm sure there's NDA agreements, but I mean, it can't be that deep though. It can't be that.
Like
deep.
we can at least talk about like
Maybe I'll look it. I'll probably look that up to see who
like
works
card
at Konami.
releases and maybe why like the places are separate, things like that.
I mean, it'd just be cool to just give them a full
Yeah.
blown interview. Whatever happened to that woman who would communicate with the community pretty often? You remember her? I forgot her name, but there was a woman who who seemed to communicate with the community pretty often. I don't know. I forgot her name. Anyway,
I probably know her if I see her, I guess.
I never saw a picture of her, so I wouldn't. But I knew there was a woman. Maybe someone else. Anyway, yeah, I think a lot of these are very practical things Konami can adopt for the game.
CEO Konami, Steve Sutherland.
Steve Sutherland.
Steve Sutherland.
That sounds like a CEO type name.
Yeah, bro. Come interview with us. I got some questions.
Anyway, and then I do think the lore thing, the lore integration, that's more of an idealistic scenario, or not an ideal scenario. They could definitely do that.
If you're gonna make your game broken, then at least make it like fun to be around.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I agree. Anyway, I think this was really good. I think this is really good. Maybe we can explore I want maybe we can explore what would be the benefits of Konami becoming its own IP, or like its own independent IP. If they could do it, and what would be the benefits of it? That'd be very interesting. Anyway, well, we appreciate you guys for tuning into this episode of Lock Stars.
Where we deal cards and spit bars.
We don't deal cards. You don't spend any type of bars. You eat bars. Chocolate bars.
Delicious.
Just be quiet. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, share the video, and watch the video again. Yeah. Second time. Anyway, we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Deuce.